Welcome, my friend. I'm Chef Lance, and welcome to my kitchen. And Merry Christmas, because today we're going to cook duck for Christmas. We're going to do a crispy skin duck crown that's going to impress your friends and family, and it's absolutely delicious. So let's get started. So first thing is I'm going to tighten up this skin by I'm going to use a process between boiling water and ice bath. I'm not trying to cook it. What I'm trying to do is render some of the fat out of the skin and tighten that skin up. By the way, I got this. I'm imitating a video I saw from a 3 Michelin star restaurant in London. I'll put a link to their channel below. So what I'm going to do is start out by holding it down for 30 seconds in the boiling water, and it is of course, the cold chicken dropped the temperature a little bit, but it'll come back. I'm going to hold that down. I prepped the duck ahead of time, and I'll show you bits and pieces of that. I first removed all but the first joint of the wing, and then we're going to stop the cooking with the ice bath. Then I removed the chicken quarters, and I also removed the back for stock, and don't do that, kids. You actually need that back for some stability. I'm going to get through it. But I've cooked duck many times, and so I can figure this out. Now, by the way, let me show you something. I'm going to come get this out of the ice bath. If you watch, coming out of the tongs here, water that gets captured on the end of the tong can come down. Now, that's not so bad when it's ice water, but when it really becomes critical is when you pull this out of the boiling water, and you got to know where that water is coming out so you don't burn yourself. So another dunk in the ice bath. We're going to do this 3 or 4 times, and then we'll carry you to the next step. All right, guys, we've tightened the skin on the duck, and what I'm going to do now is I am actually going to get rid of as much moisture off the skin as I can, because we're going to cure this duck overnight, and I don't want a wet skin. I want to maintain dryness all throughout the process, because dry skin will help make it crispy. Okay, so as I find the ice, I'm going to dump it over there. Now I'm just going to pat this dry. Now you can see when I trimmed, I got a little aggressive, and it's pulling up off of the breast, but we're going to be okay. Just don't trim as aggressively as I did. You can see that, you can see from that it's tightened up and pulled. Okay, I can feel it is markedly, decisively tighter. Okay, so now I've got this duck skin dry. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it. First of all, I'm going to put a little cure. This is nothing but pure salt, by the way, kosher salt in this case, but any salt will do. Some prefer to use table salt. I'm going to roll the duck crown so I get salt on all parts of the breast and skin. Roll it, and now that is going to go into the refrigerator for 24 hours to cure, and tomorrow I'm going to bring you back, and we're going to cook this thing. All right, guys, and 24 hours later, here we are. I've got my duck. I'm going to get it out of the cure. So it is got a little flat. We'll have to fix that. But this is the salt. I'm going to dispose of it, and I'm going to rinse the bird off. So I'll do that and be right back. All right, so this is what he looks like. Actually, I know I just put water on him, rinsed him, but that skin is very, not leathery, but it's very tight, and it was actually the skin was very dry, and all I have to do is pat dry it now. That salt has done its job, and it's pulled out the moisture. And again, I mentioned yesterday that I actually took the backbone off of this, and I shouldn't have, so remember that. Don't do that. So anyway, I'm going to pat it dry on the bottom. Now, there is no more salt we need to add to this, because he's been through that dry brine to cure. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to score the skin so that it will render any more fat out, and it'll also create a decorative element. Now I'm just going to mimic what I saw in the video. I mentioned, I think yesterday, that I got this from a 3 Michelin star restaurant. I'm going to put the link in the description to their channel. They have a lot of great technique videos on there. Really, I can see why they have a Michelin star. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking the tip of this paring knife, and I'm just using, I'm not pushing at all. I'm letting the sharp tip cut into the skin without going to the flesh. Now you can see yesterday I made that jab too deep, and that's cut. So I'm going to try to incorporate that into the decorative nature of this. And so we're just going to work our way up. And then on the other side. So I'll keep this going. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned, I've preheated the oven to 400 degrees. That's 200 degrees Celsius. I'm going to put this in for 6 minutes. And I'm going to drop the temperature to 285, which is 140 Celsius. And we're going to cook this duck to medium rare, which is 130 to 135. All right, so I've got the scoring a little deep in some areas. So again, don't worry about making a mistake. This is all about making mistakes and getting better. So I'm going to pop this in the oven, set a timer for 6 minutes, and I'll see you around the corner. All right, kids, our duck is out of the oven, and it's resting to achieve that perfect tip. And I have to be honest, though, I'm a little underwhelmed with how brown and how crispy the skin is right now. So we're going to do, this was a part of the process that we were going to do anyway, but I'm really going to go with it at a vengeance right now. So what I'm doing is I'm moving it off the original pan, and if I can get that without making a mess. So on this pan here is actually duck fat that came off of our bird. Now, it's not enough. I could tell when I pulled it out, it didn't have enough to do the job. So what I've got is some additional duck fat that I have collected from different various projects. You can tell there was some water in that because when I put it in this hot oil here, it's definitely making a noise. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this back on this pan. This is the really dirty one, so I'm going to leave it that way. This is going to come to a nice, I'm going to let it roll with a boil. You know, that's easy for you to say. I'm going to let it come to a high bubbling stage, really a boil. It won't take too much longer. And then what I'm going to do is pour this over. If that still hasn't gotten there, I've got the broiler set on high, and I will pop it under the broiler for like a minute at a time just to check and make sure that it's doing. Okay, now I can tell the oil is actually starting to smoke. So I'm going to pour it over this. Now I can see it, the moisture bubbling out. Look at that. Now this is really going to help crisp that up. But I do want more color, and that's where the broiler is going to come into play. I'm just going to use all the oil that I'm doing right now, and then we'll heat it up again. Oh, it smells so good. Golly, Pete, that smells good. So now, what do we do now? Now I'm going to put it under the broiler for 30 seconds to a minute, and we'll go back and forth on that because I don't want to cook the bird anymore. All I'm doing now is, and we're getting there. I can definitely feel it. We're going to broil it, get some color on it. We're going to do the duck fat again, and I'll bring you back when we get this process done. Okay, guys, we are definitely out of the broiler, and I do like the color now. Listen, anytime you put something like this in under the broiler, do not walk away. I didn't. I'm not confessing anything. I'm just telling you, don't do it because things can go from 0 to 160 in about that quick. So this is about where one of the skin has crisped up even more. I'm going to apply some more duck fat to it. Then and then I'll apply a glaze to it, and it'll be time to plate it. So let me get this on. All right, yeah. So what I'm going to do now, this is my orange gastrique that I made earlier. I'm just going to dip my brush in there, and I'm going to paint this on as a glaze. All right, now we've crisped that up, and got a little bit of over caramelization on that, but that it happened in a flash, by the way. So you always got to be careful. And I was standing right there. So I'm going to plate it. Put a little sauce. That looks good to me. And voila. Roasted, crispy skin, duck crowned with an orange gastrique. Merry Christmas.